It was one of the hardest things that I've ever been through, and just feeling that low and that useless and that overweight. And it's just a miracle to me that I recovered and I lost the weight and I got my life back. I think all my life really I have been dieting. I had been on some faddy diet where I'd been eating junk food. I'd always been trying to keep my weight at the same kind of level in my healthy range, and it went up and down, and as soon as it would go up I would go on some diet again and make sure that it didn't go over again, and sometimes it would go over and I'd feel really bad about myself. So I was always on this yo-yo dieting train and never really learned how to eat healthy. I didn't really know the meaning of healthy. I just followed these diets, and when I'd had enough then I started putting on weight again. So it was just a vicious circle really. And the last time I followed a diet was when I was trying to slim down for my wedding day, and I wanted to fit into my wedding dress. I wanted to look slim and beautiful. So I went on another fatty diet, and I was counting my points. And I remember being really proud of myself because I'd made all these no point foods, and I had things like no point hot chocolate and no point meringues and no point jellies and no point diet sodas and all these things. I remember spreading all these food out in front of me, and this was my dinner, and I was so proud of myself because I had made an entire meal that didn't have any points in, and I thought, yes, it's going to really help me to lose weight, and this is exactly what I need to slim down for my wedding day. So I did actually manage to do it. I managed to get fairly slim. I wasn't at my ideal weight, but I was slim enough that I was happy with the way I looked on my wedding day. But I didn't actually, on my wedding day, I didn't feel good at all. I think it started a little bit before that, and the feeling of, on my wedding day I had this banging headache, and I felt stressed and overheated, and I just felt like I wanted to collapse, and I didn't feel like I had enough energy to get through the day. I just didn't feel good at all. And then after the wedding day I was quite relieved and went on the honeymoon, and I thought, oh, that's great, I can relax now. I can finally eat what I want. I don't have to diet anymore. The wedding's over. I can have fun. We can enjoy this honeymoon. And I started eating all this food, all this really rich food. Had all sorts of things like really rich creamy desserts and coffee with cream in it, and everything that I've not been able to eat for the past couple of months. I just shoveled it all in and just had a great time for a couple of days. And then we set off on a flight, because the first couple of days we spent in the UK, in the Lake District. It was beautiful. And then we set off on a plane. We were going to our honeymoon abroad. We were going to Andorra, and we were at the airport. We had to get up at the crack of dawn, so we just had a couple of hours sleep. So we got to the airport and I was so exhausted, so I had a really large cup of coffee to wake myself up, and I got on the plane, and then I just wasn't feeling good on the plane. My stomach was feeling a bit dodgy, and I just didn't feel quite right. And then as soon as I stepped up and stepped off the plane, I got this agonising stomach ache that I was just in so much pain. I just couldn't eat. I buckled over and I just couldn't eat. I couldn't bear it. I couldn't stand. I was kind of bent over double, saying to my husband, kind of crying and saying, I've got this pain. I can't breathe. I can't walk. And he said, come on, we just need to get through passport control. You can't have pain here, because I had some IBS in the past, and he probably thought it was IBS pains, and I'd never had anything as bad as that before in my life. It was so intense. It was just absolutely agonising. So in the end, he rushed off and got some help, and they got a wheelchair for me. They put me in a wheelchair, pushed me through passport control in a wheelchair, which would have been embarrassing if I wasn't in so much pain. And then we were in Spain. We were having to get our connection to Andorra in Spain, so we got off at Spain to get the bus up to Andorra, and of course everyone's speaking Spanish. and we're trying to speak to them in English. They didn't understand. They're talking to each other in Spanish. They're pushing me in this wheelchair, pushed me into a lift, an elevator, and said to my husband, no, you know, there's no room for you. However, they said it in Spanish, but we got the message. He wasn't coming in the elevator. So I went down, I thought, where's my husband? I don't know what's happening, where's he gone? He was panicking. Where's she gone? Where are they taking her? We just don't know. So eventually he ran down the stairs, he managed to catch me up. They pushed me into the back of a minibus or an ambulance or whatever it was, I don't know. I just remember getting pushed up this ramp into this bus, and we got in this bus. They took us to the hospital, and I had all these tests done. Then they injected me with something, and then we didn't know what was happening, didn't know what I was being injected with. It was really scary. Everyone was speaking in Spanish, couldn't talk to anybody, nobody could understand us, we couldn't understand them. And eventually we got a doctor to speak to us who knew a bit of English, and she said, you're just sensitive. And I thought, what? You know, all this pain, all this agony, and I'm just sensitive? You know, how can I be just sensitive? So I felt a bit better after they'd injected me with this thing. Don't know what it was. And then we did manage to go on the rest. We got the bus up to Andorra, and I wasn't very much better. I was ill and sick for the rest of the honeymoon. So it did have an impact on the rest of the honeymoon. I just thought, you know, why is this happening now? Couldn't this have happened some other time apart from my honeymoon? So got back to England again, where we were living at the time, prepared to settle down into married life, and I just continued to be sick. I just didn't recover. It wasn't like a bug that just went away. It just never left me. I just got worse and worse and worse. My energy level was at the floor. I had to give up my job because I just couldn't work. I was too sick to work. And I was absolutely useless around the house as well. Like, most days I could barely get out of bed. If I could get out of bed, I could sit on the sofa. But if I did something like having a bath or taking a shower, then it would wipe me out for hours. I would be shaking for hours after it, and I'd have to go and lie down, and it was just crazy. I couldn't do any housework. You know, well, I would have good days and bad days. Sometimes I could do a bit. Most days I couldn't do anything at all, and I just felt so useless. I just felt like, what, you know, what, I've got married and now there's nothing. I can't contribute anything to this marriage at all. I'm just sick. I don't know why. I went to the doctors, and the doctors did all kinds of tests, and then they got me to fill in a questionnaire, and then they said, well, we can't really find anything wrong with you, but according to your answers, you have, you know, chronic fatigue syndrome, and you've got extreme IBS, and you've got extreme allergies, and you've got depression. I had all these things. I had, like, I remember writing a list of 50 different health problems that I had, and the doctors just said, we just don't know how to fix any of these things. These are just not things we can give you pills for. Like, they gave me pills for the IBS and pills for the allergies, and they didn't work, and I just felt worse. And they said, there's nothing else we can do for you. It's just, this is going to be you for the rest of your life now. People don't recover from these things, from chronic fatigue syndrome. It's going to be like this forever, so you need to find a way to manage it, because this is not something that we can help you recover from. And I was just devastated, because I just thought, how can I be so sick? I'm young. I've only just got married. I haven't even had kids yet. I really wanted kids, and I just couldn't bear the thought that this was my life. And this went on for over a year. I was really sick, and then after I'd been to the doctor numerous times, they kept telling me, we just can't do anything to help you. I just suddenly thought, you know, I just can't live like this anymore. I'd had prayer for healing, and I felt angry, and nothing was happening. And I just thought, this is just not me for the rest of my life. I'm just not going to live like this. This is an unbearable life. Like, what is the point in even living if I can barely move? It's just pointless. I need to get well. I refuse to accept that this is me, that this is my life. So I didn't know where to start. I started with Amazon, and I thought, I'm just going to start reading. I'm going to educate myself on health. And I just remember typing in words like health book, and healthy living, and all these kind of things. and I just started reading, and I didn't know where to read, but I'd find ones with good reviews and I'd think, right, I'll read that next and this next, and in the end I read hundreds and hundreds of books. And at first I was really confused. I didn't know what to read, and there was lots of contradictions. Everybody was telling you completely different things. And I tried various things. Sometimes I felt a little bit better, sometimes not very much better, and I just thought, this is just not making any difference whatsoever. I've changed my diet, I'm on all these strict diets and nothing is working. And then one day I discovered green smoothies, and I'd been reading about it in a book, and I thought, that does look really healthy, and it looks easy as well. Not only is it healthy, but I don't have to slave away preparing all these cooked meals that are taking hours, and all this chopping, and all these different flavours. All I need to do is put this in my blender, and then I've got my veggies, I've got my fruit, I've got everything I need in one meal in there. So I thought, right, I'm just going to give it a try. I already had a cheap blender, so threw all the ingredients in for the green smoothies, drank it. My first recipe wasn't very tasty. I mean, since then I have definitely perfected a delicious tasting green smoothie, but my first smoothies that I was making, they didn't taste good at all. But I didn't care because I was so sick. I just drank the thing, and then the next day I did actually feel better. I thought, wow, I have more energy. For the first time in my life, I feel the energy surging through my body, and I thought, I'm going to drink more of these. So I drank them for breakfast, and I drank them for lunch, and I would have a really healthy dinner, and I drank most of my meals were actually green smoothies, and it was like a miracle. And within a week I just thought, I am making a significant improvement. I am actually healing. I feel it. I feel that something is shifting. And not only that, but the scales, I was weighing myself. I was always weighing myself every day, and there was weight dropping off every single day, and after a week I'd lost 7 pounds, and it just kept coming off really, really fast after that, and I just couldn't believe the weight was coming off. I was feeling better. I went through a bit of a detox period, and then I started feeling amazing. Like within a few months I was completely recovered. Not only was I completely recovered, but I'd lost all of the weight that I'd put on. Most of the weight had fallen off within a few months, and it took an extra couple of months to get down to my completely ideal weight. But within a few months I'd lost all the weight that I'd put on, and I'd recovered my health. And I just couldn't believe how good I felt. Like it was like a dream come true. Like not only did I feel so much better than I had felt, I felt better than I'd ever felt in my entire life. Like I'd always been quite a sickly child. I never, I always had one bug after another. There was always something kind of wrong with me, and all my health problems went away, and I had so much energy. I went from not being able to get out of bed, I was running for an hour every day, and then doing another hour's worth of weight training after that, and I just felt amazing. I was sleeping well. I'd never slept well my entire life. I always had insomnia. So many things. All my allergies went away, things I'd had all my life. My hay fever went away, my allergies, my eczema, my asthma completely went away. Everything just healed up. My chronic fatigue syndrome went, and I had so much energy. It was just crazy what happened in just a few months. I was just over the moon. Because another thing about being really sick is that nobody believes you. Like that's one of the worst things about having these kind of mystery illnesses, which are really just caused from the processed foods that we're eating. And we think, we've got all these labels for this, that and the other, but it really doesn't help, because what we just really need to do is change our diet, and that is going to help the majority of poor health that we've got, is just by changing our diet. And I didn't even do any exercise the first few months because I was too sick. I had chronic fatigue syndrome. I didn't have any energy to do any exercise, so this weight came off without doing any exercise whatsoever. And then I had all this energy, and I needed to do exercise after that to use up all this energy that I had, like flowing around my system. It was just incredible. After I lost all this weight, and it completely changed my life, I was like a new person, and best of all, like I just felt so happy. I've never felt happiness like this before. I just felt like I was floating in the clouds. I was so happy. My brain felt so light. I could think clearly for the first time in my life. And it just gave me so much confidence, because not only was I looking really slim, I'd reached my ideal weight, I was doing exercise, I was toning up my body, but I felt really confident because I was happy, because I felt like I could do anything, because I felt like now that I've recovered, now that I've lost these 5 dress sizes, this 56 pounds, I can do anything that I set my mind to. It just made me feel like really strong inside, because I'd managed to stick to it without deviating, and it did work for me. It really did work, and I just got so motivated because of what happened to me, that I just had such a passion and such a yearning to share this with other people. So that's exactly what I set out to do, and I just thought so many people need to hear this. They need to hear that it's easy not only to lose the weight quickly, but it's really easy to recover from health problems as long as you're eating the right food. And the right food, it doesn't need to be complicated. It just needs to be a smoothie with greens in it, a green smoothie, and that's it. So that's what I started doing, and yeah, it's been life-changing for me, and now thousands of people are having their lives change as a result of this, and I just couldn't be happier about this. It makes me smile every day when I see that people have got results with this. And I really want you to have the same results that I had, and that's why I put everything that I was eating into a meal plan, and I am giving you this meal plan completely free. I'm giving you 1 whole month of meal plan completely free, all your green smoothie recipes, all of the other meals, whether you want to drink them for lunch or have a different dinner or even a different breakfast. I've put everything that's got all the nutrients that I was eating during that time into 1 monthly meal planning system called the Leaf System. And you can click the link, or you can go to greenthickies.com/leaf system and get it started there completely free, because I want you to have the same results that I had, and I would love for you to post in the Facebook group, the Leaf System Facebook group, and let me know how it's going for you. Take care, bye!